Welcome into the live Sunday Locked On Fantasy Football Show. I am your host, Michelle Majuk, and this is the great Michael Fabiano. Today, like every Sunday morning, we're going to go through all the inactives and then also let you know which replacements you can trust or not, and then answer all of your start-sit questions for Week 12. Or if you have any, trade questions or anything like that before the deadline, you can send those in as well. So send in those comments. We will make sure to get to all of those by the end of our show. Let's first start off with these inactives. And the first one, the biggest one this week that we've known about all week long is Jamar Chase out with the suspension for, spitting on another man. And that means that, Joe Burrow is still going to be out this week as well. One more week. So we still got Joe Flacco back there, but T. Higgins should have an increased workload with targets. And then maybe, Andre Yushavash or Noah Fant or Mike Gesicki coming back kind of puts a annoyance into the Noah Fant thing. But what is your takeaway with Jamar Chase suspension? Who gets the upgrade here?
Don't spit on dudes. We need you in our fantasy lineup, Jamar. What the heck, man? So other than that, yeah, I think you nailed it. Higgins should see more opportunities. Yoshivach is going to be like a sleeper type this week. And when we get the inactives, which should be coming out here shortly, I'll let you know if Gesicki is coming back or not.
I just got the inactives. It looks like Gesicki is active.
Well, and Noah Fant does not look as attractive as he might have 2 minutes ago.
Yeah. Noah Fant was my favorite sleeper of the week at tight end, but with Mike Gesicki back, it does make it harder. If I had to start one, I would go with Fant. It's a nice matchup against the Patriots. And last year when T. Higgins was out, now I know they play different roles, Chase and Higgins, but Mike Gesicki really had some great games when T. Higgins was out. So I was expecting, the tight end to step up here.
Yep.
But it does make it harder. I probably just stay away from that group now unless I'm desperate. And then it's just T. Higgins is up our rankings. Any chance you're starting Yoshevich? I'm
in some bigger leagues. I have guys injured. I have bye weeks. So yeah, no, I definitely would do that. If I needed to. I mean, I'm not jumping at the opportunity, but I would definitely need to. If I needed to, I would be able to do that. And I'd feel halfway decent about it. So.
No, I think two guys who would much rather play are Darnell Mooney and Michael Wilson because they're, the stars on their teams are out. Drake London is out for the Falcons against the Saints, and then Marvin Harrison Jr. is out again. Michael Wilson had a monster game last week.
Well done last week.
Thank you. I was very excited about that. But a harder matchup this week against the Jaguars is not as easy as that 49ers secondary, but I still think
pretty good.
Yeah. He's not going to have 185 receiving yards this week. Don't expect that, but he can have another 90-yard, 10-target game. So he's a good starter again in your flex or wide receiver 2, 3. And then Darnell Mooney. I think actually Kirk Cousins being there helps out Mooney as well. We saw Mooney and Kirk Cousins have quite a few good games last year together. So I think Darnell Mooney is a fine start too with Drake London out.
It's all about opportunities. The last time Drake London missed a game, we all were kind of jumping on Mooney and he did nothing. So I do have a little PTSD when it comes to that, but I would certainly start him if needed. We've got a couple more inactives coming out too, by the way, Michelle. So Ken Walker's active, which is a good thing. And we already know that Bucky Irving will not play. That is a 4:00 window game. We also know Josh Jacobs will not play. So Emmanuel Wilson should be in your starting lineup. We also found out this morning that Aaron Rodgers will not play. So it'll be the Mason Rudolph show against the Bears defense that's all kinds of banged up.
Yeah, so would you play Mason Rudolph? So let me give you Joe Flacco against the Patriots, much harder defense, or Mason Rudolph against the Bears?
Still going Flacco.
Yeah, it's hard because it's on the road. I actually haven't looked at the weather in Chicago, but typically, late November in Chicago is not the best of weather. So that's also something you have to worry about. But Cincinnati's not great weather either at this time. So both.
One other one too, Michelle, sorry to cut you off. Ramondre Stevenson is active. If Mike Vrabel screws us and puts him back into the starting lineup and gives him the lead back role again, can we get some protests going maybe out there in, New England with signs that say, what are you doing? TreVeyon Henderson's the guy. So, you're starting TreVeyon Henderson, guys. I understand that. There's no question about that. I'm really interested to see what Vrabel does with Stevenson now back in the mix. Because if he gets crazy, if he gets cute, I may end up driving to Cincinnati and screaming at that man. I probably wouldn't get too close to him, but you understand.
Yeah, I need them not to do that. So I'm still fully committed to Travion Henderson this week. I think he should get the majority of the workload. Come on. Like, he has proven to be that game breaker type of running back that can make those big plays that Ramondre Stevenson just cannot make. And it's a great matchup against the Bengals. They cannot mess this up. And when they get around the goal line, I really hope it's not just Ramondre Stevenson. So I'm still sticking with Henderson. I'm not touching Stevenson. And, if they make us look stupid, then shame on Vrabel.
Yeah, exactly. Xavier Worthy also is good to go. For those of you who are desperate and are starting him in that game against Indianapolis. That game is funny because you look at it and you think this could be a high-scoring game. But then you look at how good the Chiefs defense is and you're kind of like, I don't know. And the Colts, last 4 weeks, second fewest points allowed to perimeter receivers. So,
and Xavier Worthy has done nothing. So I was going to say he might be playing, but he shouldn't be in your lineups unless you're super, super desperate. Keep sending in those start-sit questions. We will get to them shortly. Now, Trey Benson's still out. Amari DeMercado's out. So that means Bam Knight is back into play. He is going to be active. Or would you go with Michael Carter? He's fully healthy. Either of those guys give you any interest against the Jaguars?
I mean, I'm going to play Bam. I'm playing Bam in a few leagues, but that Cardinals backfield has been very unpredictable. Let's just put it that way. So would I be surprised if Carter had more touches? No, but based on what's going on the last few weeks, I'm gonna lean in on Bam and hope that that he's good to go. By the way, if I am looking away, I'm looking for inactives. This is one of my favorite days. Like, it's trade deadline day in a lot of my leagues. And so I got people, I just actually pulled off a deal. I got a lot of people texting me because we're trying to make deadline deals. How much fun is that in fantasy? It's great. Like, we see it in baseball and basketball and football and everywhere else, but in fantasy football, it's a lot of fun too.
It really is. Trades are a great time. I traded away Travis Etienne earlier at the perfect time for Ashton Genty. Now, the last week hasn't looked so great, but I'm still excited for that trade. A couple more inactives here. Jackson Dart's still out. So Jameis Winston. I mean, it's not like he had a big game last week, but in Detroit, we expect Detroit to put up monster points. So I do think Jameis Winston is a viable play. But what about Darius? What about Darius Slayton with him?
What about Isaiah Hodgins with him? I mean, Isaiah Hodgins was his guy last week, right? And, a lot of times when a backup quarterback is playing and one of the wide receivers or receivers that he practices with a lot, sometimes, they throw the ball to that wide receiver because they have the rapport. I don't know if the Giants inactives have come out. I will search for them. But if they do, I'll let you know, because obviously, Slayton didn't play last week, but we'll be keeping tabs on that throughout the morning here, and we'll give you that info. And we do have it. Darius Slayton is active.
Yeah.
So he's good to go.
And so is Kayshon Boutte. I love him this week against the Bengals. He had a few really good games there leading up to the injury. He was starting to get more involved, catching those touchdowns regularly. I like him this week. Alvin Kamara is expected to go as well today. And Kamara's been terrible this whole year, but right before the bye, he got 22 carries. All of a sudden was used a lot. Tyler Shook was able to do something a little bit, but the Falcons is a good matchup. So I think Kamara is a fine start this week.
So it is when you look at the numbers, but then when you look a little deeper, like they've played they've played Jonathan Taylor. I believe they've played Devon Achane and Bijan, I believe. They've played a lot of good running backs. So I get it that it looks like I'm sorry, not Bijan Robinson. He plays for Atlanta. There was another running back who is escaping me at the top. I think it may have been McCaffrey. I can't remember, but they've played three really, really elite running backs, and they gave it up to all three of them. Other than that, the running backs that they faced have not really put up these great numbers. So I'm in a league where I got to play Kamara, but I don't love it. Kamara's not Kamara anymore.
No, he's not. It's definitely a low-end RB2 type of situation. And one last thing here, Bucky Irving is still out this week, longest injury ever. Do we trust Sean Tucker? Again, he went off last week in a great matchup. This, however, is not a good matchup against the Rams. It's actually the second to worst one for fantasy running backs. just don't expect him to go off again. You can start him, just
Yeah.
don't expect like a big game.
I have a league where I have Tucker and White, and I'm playing Tucker because this is not just a 1 week thing. Tucker has looked better than him the last few weeks. So yeah, it's a lousy matchup. But I mean, Ken Walker had 20 points against the LA Rams last week. So, again, fantasy football.
Yeah, I mean, if you're deciding between the two, if Rachaad White and Sean Tucker, definitely Tucker.
Yeah.
I just am worried that people are going to expect this big week from him again, and it's just a much tougher matchup. That's all. But he should get the work. He should get goal line opportunities, and Baker gave him that long touchdown too in the air. So you never know. We are going to get to all your start sit questions now, so keep sending those in. We'll take a quick break and get right to those. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. The holiday season is one of the best times for sports, bowl games, big basketball matchups, football, playoff pushes. It's all happening at once. And while we're all making choices every day, one of the most fun places to make the right call is at PrizePicks. PrizePicks is the easiest way to get on daily fantasy. Just pick more or less on at least 2 player projections, lock in your lineup, and you're in the game. It's simple, fast, and available in 45 states, including California, Texas, Florida, and Georgia. You can choose from a huge range of unique stats, fantasy, scores, field goals attempted, free throws made, turnovers, whatever fits your strategy. Right now, Jameson Williams is sitting at 13 fantasy points against the Giants. Absolutely love that. Smash that more. And then their deposits and withdrawals are super easy and quick, which keeps everything flowing. So just download the PrizePicks app today and use code LOCKDOWNNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code LOCKDOWNNFL to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it's good to be right. All right, let's get to some of these start-sit questions right at the top. This is an unfortunate one right away, but it's still a very clear answer for me. Brock Wright, Bretton Strange, or Aaron Jones?
Yeah, it's definitely Aaron Jones. The matchup's good, revenge game, so I like Aaron Jones. Some more inactives too. By the way, Matthew Golden is inactive. Rashad Bateman is inactive as well. I'm still waiting. I haven't found the Jaguars yet. Actually, the Jaguars play in Arizona later on today, so we won't have them right now. So we're not going to know about Bretton Strange. But out of this, it's definitely Aaron Jones. There's no question about that.
Yeah, I am with you there. Matthew Stafford or Patrick Mahomes. So Mahomes gets a cold, Stafford gets a Bucks. It's hard to sit Stafford right now.
Stafford has been nails. Isn't this crazy? I mean, this is kind of the world we're in right now. I'm starting Matthew Stafford at home against Tampa over Patrick Mahomes, who, I mean, if you look at his numbers the last few weeks, they have not been great. Not that I'm not playing him in just about every single scenario, but when you've got Stafford, I just like the matchup better. And not for nothing, but Stafford's been a better fantasy quarterback in the last month than Patrick Mahomes.
No, he definitely has. And right now, I think Mahomes has a much better game than what we've seen from him lately. But
yeah, me too.
I actually have them ranked back to back 6 and 7, but I have Stafford at 6. I really like that matchup against the Buccaneers too. We have to see if Jamal Dean will play today, but he was questionable, and that would be a big loss for that Buccaneers secondary as well, which would only help out Stafford. But that's the night game, so I don't think we have that information just yet.
No.
We have a defensive question, Jaguars or the Steelers. The Jaguars get the Cardinals. The Steelers will be in Chicago. I'm going with the Jaguars.
Yeah, so the Steelers went off last week. They were my start of the week over at Sports Illustrated, so I was pretty happy about the production that they had. But I'm probably going, you know what? I've got Pittsburgh actually ranked higher than Jacksonville this week. So yeah, so I'm going to stick with Pittsburgh this week. Arizona's offense has actually been balling. And Brissett has not played like a journeyman backup quarterback. So it's close. I'm going to go Pittsburgh here though.
I'm going Jaguars. So I'm picking against my favorite team. You're wearing the jersey of your biggest rival that's playing your favorite team. Like what's up with the Eagles jersey? I got to ask.
First off, the Kelly green is glorious. It's one of the best uniforms out there. I don't know why the Eagles ever changed. Second, yes, I am a Cowboys fan, but I hate Jerry Jones with a hot white passion. And so I've decided this year that if I want to wear jerseys from other players, and this is a Randall Cunningham jersey, who I love Randall Cunningham, then damn it, I'm going to have fun and do it. Because Jerry Jones doesn't love me enough to make smart moves. I'm going to wear other jerseys of other teams and other players because why not? This is what Jerry's done to me.
But the same day that they play them, that's a little bold.
I'm making a statement, Michelle. I'm making a statement right now. I'm rooting for the Cowboys, but this is a great uniform. It's a great jersey.
It is a great jersey. I will give you that. To give you an update on Jamel Dean, he is officially out for Week 12. So that is a big upgrade also for the Rams. Just everyone. Puka, Devontae Adams, and then Matthew Stafford. So we got another one. Swift or David Montgomery. Man, I'm going DeAndre Swift. The Steelers have been better against the run as of late. Like their defense has stepped up, but on the road, and Ben Johnson wants to run. So I'm going to go with Swift. And Montgomery has just not been doing it. He hasn't been scoring.
That's the thing. Points. So I don't like Swift this week. I don't. I'm afraid of the matchup. He's losing carries to Mooney guy. And Montgomery has the better matchup. I mean, there's no question about that. The problem is that like they've been using Gibbs more as like a true featured type back, and Montgomery's not getting as much burn. It's close, but I'm going to go Swift, even though I don't love it. It's begrudgingly that I'm giving you that advice. It's
actually a lot for me. There's a big difference between them. At Swift, I have at running back 13 this week, and David Montgomery.
Wow, 13. Wow. I have Swift at 20 and Montgomery at 24.
I have Montgomery at 25. So we're close on Montgomery. The thing is, it's an amazing matchup against the Giants. It's just, does Gibbs take it all? Does Goff
don't know about the touches.
Yeah, you don't know how. Like, if he scores a couple touchdowns, I'm not going to be surprised. It's just the points haven't come there. The usage has all gone to Gibbs, especially with Dan Campbell, calling plays now. So I got to go Swift with that workload. Yep. Start 2 out of these 3, A.J. Brown, Jamison Williams, or Ricky Pearsall. I'm going Jamison Williams and A.J. Brown. I do like Pearsall, but Jamison Williams for sure. And the Brown ceiling is just so much higher than Pearsall's.
Yeah, he is. And Pearsall, I mean, he didn't do anything last week. He had one target in the game. So I'm a little afraid to even start him this week against Carolina. That's the Monday night game. I am starting him because I need to. But yeah, I mean, A.J. Brown and Jamison Williams, are the 2 guys that I would start. And I would say this, if your trade deadline is today, or maybe it's next week, trade for Jamison Williams. And you know what? Trade for A.J. Brown. One of the easiest schedules rest of season for the wide receiver position. You could also obviously throw Devontae Smith in there as well. But Jamison has been en fuego, and no Sam Laporta.
Yeah, I mean, without Sam Laporta, Jamison Williams definitely is looking fantastic. He's my fire start of the week at wide receiver this week. I love him against that Giants secondary. That exactly what they're terrible at is covering the speedster guy that can get open deep, and Jamison Williams should come down with at least 1 or 2 big receiving, receptions today. One should go for a touchdown as well. So I'm excited for him. We got Myers or Josh Downs in the flex. Jacoby Myers or Josh Downs. Oof.
Yeah, I mean, I don't love either. And again, I'm looking over here because I'm trying to check out my rankings. I got Myers ranked higher. I don't, and Brian Thomas is not playing again, this week. So I've got Myers ranked higher. Do I feel great about either one? No. Kansas City's defense is so good, and they're so good at home. Like, look at the numbers that they haven't given up. Okay. They are really tough at home. And again, some games go sideways, and like their higher scoring games is when the defenses are good, or like, a few weeks ago, Eagles, Packers, we thought there'd be a lot of points and there weren't. So, you never know, but I'm going Myers here. I'm starting him in a couple of leagues. And again, like, you got buys and you got injuries. And so you kind of begrudgingly start these guys and hope for the best.
Yeah. I mean, Myers led the team last week in targets, receptions, receiving yards. It wasn't anything huge, but 5 receptions, 64 yards in the flex. Like, you won't hate that, especially in a full PPR league. Parker Washington was a big letdown last week. Is that a guy you're looking at this week, or would you rather start Myers over Parker Washington?
I have Washington behind Myers this week.
Okay, yeah.
Very close, but I have Myers ahead of him.
And this is the second straight week Washington hasn't done much in the receiving game. He got that return, that punt return the week prior, which helped out his fantasy day. But yeah, he's not being utilized the way we thought maybe would happen with Brian Thomas Jr. out and with Travis Hunter out. Let's get to one more and then we'll take a quick break, but we'll still answer all questions. So keep sending them in. We have plenty of time with you guys. We need 2 to hold rest of season non-PPR. So this is like stashes on the bench. Blake Corum, Kyle Monagai, Ricky Pearsall, Romeo Doubs, Mike Evans, DJ Moore, Baker Mayfield.
I mean, again, like I can't see your entire roster, but I mean, I don't know why you would ever get rid of Baker Mayfield. And I'm also going to keep Ricky Pearsall just for the upside that he has.
Yeah, I'm not dropping Ricky Pearsall. He's a start. Like he's a guy you could start. Those aren't easy to find on waivers. Yeah. Mike Evans, I don't think he's going to be back for you.
I don't think so either. He's not going to be back to help you anytime soon. DJ
Moore's been pointless. Dobbs has been all over the place. And it's nice to be able to stash a Corum or Kyle Monagai in case of injuries. But
yeah,
it's going to be a little hard to do with those options. So unless you have Lamar Jackson or Josh Allen that you're starting every week and they're already past your bye.
Yeah, right.
But before your trade deadline, go trade Baker.
Right. Yeah, exactly. You know, if you've got like that elite type guy, then I would try to trade Baker. I would just hate to cut Baker.
Yeah.
I would hate to just cut him and not get anything for him.
Yeah. Cutting him would not be ideal. I do expect maybe it could be a bad game against the Rams this week. So definitely try to trade him before the games today, especially because a lot of trade deadlines are today anyway. So go try to get that done. We're going to take a quick break and then we'll get to the rest of your start sit questions, trade questions, anything that you have for us, send them on over. There's honestly nothing better than being at a live NFL game in the stadium, surrounded by fans cheering on your team. But let's be honest, getting tickets can be a hassle. Between queues, login screens, and prices jumping at checkout, it can be frustrating. That's why I always use Gametime, the app that gives the advantage back to fans. Gametime is fast, easy, and backed by the Gametime guarantee. You'll always get 100% authentic tickets delivered on time and at the best price. Plus, all fees are included, so the price you see is the price you pay. You can pull up Gametime right now, and just a couple taps, you'll see amazing deals. I'm talking about your favorite NFL games as low as $100, and the app is made super simple to use. So just download the Gametime app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDONNFL for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, that's promo code LOCKEDONNFL. That's LOCKEDONFL for $20 off. Swipe, tap, ticket, go. Download Gametime today. Let's continue our start sit questions, and we'll get to all of those. So keep sending them in. We went through all the inactives already, the big ones: Jamar Chase, Drake London, Marvin Harrison Jr., Brian Thomas Jr., Bucky Irving, Aaron Rodgers, Joe Burrow, Jackson Dart, Trey Benson, Amari DeMarcado. They are all out this week. Anyone I missed there?
I think you got most of them. Stevenson is active. Ken Walker is active. So Vrabel, please don't do it to us. Please don't do it to us. Seriously, man, I'm going to lose my, you know what, if they go back to Stevenson as the starter. And that's why I've been kind of looking around to see, sending text messages to some people that, you know, maybe know. I haven't heard anything back yet. So we'll see what happens.
Now we got another question. Because good morning, fam. They say, because of Chase suspension, I need a replacement starter. Romeo Doubs or Darnell Mooney?
So I'm going Doubs just because we know that there's no Matt Golden in this game for Green Bay. And like, I get it. You know, Mooney's got a decent matchup and he's the one. Kirk Cousins is, I mean, he looked like a shell of the dude that we loved in Minnesota for so many years earlier in the season. And so I just rather go with Doubs because I just feel like Dobbs' floor is going to be a little bit better.
See, I'm going with Darnell Mooney. I really like him this week. I think he's going to
get. Yeah, I know. He scares me. I'm chicken. All right. That's our pick this week.
Okay. That's
Mooney versus Dobbs.
Well, last week I destroyed it.
My butt all up and down the fantasy football world. Yes, you did. But I said Dortch too, and Dortch had a good game, but you did win last week. Yes.
But yeah, we'll keep an eye on that one. Now, this one confuses me. They said, thanks for talking me off the ledge of starting Brock Purdy over Daniel Jones. Just because we're a little bit lower on Ricky Pearsall over some guys, I still think Brock Purdy's a good play this week. I think Kittle has a big game. Christian McCaffrey could get a receiving touchdown. He still is Juwan Jennings. I mean, I still think Ricky Pearsall will be okay. I just liked AJ Brown and Jameson Williams more, but I'm fine with starting Brock Purdy over Daniel Jones.
I have no problem doing that whatsoever. In fact, I have Purdy ranked ahead of Daniel Jones. Let me give you a stat here. Hopefully you're going and checking out Sports Illustrated and start 'em and sit 'em every single week for all these fun little nuggets. But the Kansas City Chiefs have not allowed a quarterback to beat them for more than 17 points at home. And that includes Jalen Hurts and Lamar Jackson, who both scored fewer than 12 points against them at home. So, I mean, listen, fantasy football, I always say it's bananas. You never know what's going to happen, but I am a slave to the stats. And the stats say don't play Daniel Jones. I'm going Purdy. And I'm going Purdy with confidence.
I have Purdy at 10 and I have Daniel Jones at 13, and even Daniel Jones at 13 scares me, right? It's just a lot of the guys behind him also scare me a ton because they've been bad all year. That's all really it comes down to. So I do like Brock Purdy. It's not the best of matchups against the Panthers, but it's a home game. And Purdy came out on fire last week. Like I like it. I like it. I think that the Panthers can do enough on offense to make the 49ers have to keep, trying to score.
I agree.
Oh, he said, whoops, I meant my first question, Brock Wright and Aaron Jones.
No, it's Aaron Jones. Why would you start Brock Wright? Watch him score 3 touchdowns today.
I know.
Aaron Jones has got a revenge game against the Packers. The Packers just gave up 17 points to Devin Singletary and Tyrone Tracy in the same game. So you can't beat them on the ground and with a running back.
Yeah, that will be an interesting game because right now the Packers are looking like pretenders. They need to come out and beat their divisional rival and show the world that they are better than what they've been looking like. Do we want to get to some guys who we think are sleepers this week to close out the show? You can keep sending in sit questions if you have them. We will get to them. But
we also have more questions on Twitter too, Michelle, if you want to go through some of those. So
yeah, we can definitely do that. We got one more here. Dak Prescott or Brock Purdy? I'm sticking with Dak.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Dak and cross my fingers and hope he doesn't give us a stinker.
It's a home game. I know the Eagles defense has been playing lights out, but I think at home, Dak and all those weapons, they'll figure it out.
All right. Izzy Pop wants to know Kareem Hunt or David Montgomery.
I have them ranked back to back, and I have Hunt one spot ahead.
Okay. James LeBrack, it looks like this is a good one. Breece Hall or Emmanuel Wilson? Breece Hall's been very mid. As the kids say.
And I don't like his matchup against the Ravens. I think this Ravens defense got much better. I have Wilson at running back 19 and Breece Hall at running back 20. So again, another back-to-back one. Yep. I kind of like Wilson.
This one's from Just Damon. Caleb or Jacoby Brissett?
Caleb. Who are you going with?
So I have Brissett ranked slightly higher. And I have Brissett. I have Brissett at 11. I have Caleb at 12. So, I mean, so we'll go with you there. Caleb just scares the crap out of me because every week is just an adventure. And sometimes you end up with 5 points. So it's just that one scares me. All right. South side, Aaron Jones, Alvin Kamara, Ken Gainwell, Tyrone Tracy, pick 2. Now, Tyler Warren Jalen Warren is good. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
So that hurts Gainwell's value a little bit. To me, it's Aaron Jones and it's Kamara.
Yep, I'm with you. Those are my.
I don't like the Giants running backs against Detroit.
I don't like at all.
Yeah. Flex 2. The Spears, Charbonnet, Dortch, or Gainwell.
I'm flexing Charbonnet for sure out of that group.
Yes.
Because Ken Walker was also a little bit banged up this week. They're talking about getting Ken Walker more work, but with him being banged up, who knows if that's happened. I like the matchup against the Titans. So definitely Charbonnet. And then maybe Gainwell.
Oof. I think Dortch is in a good spot again this week. But we'll go Charbonnet and we'll go Gainwell here. Here's another one. Wan'Dale Robinson, Charbonnet, or Trey Tucker?
Charbonnet.
You're like, Tyler wants to know Juwan Johnson or Hunter Henry. I know where I'm going here.
It was Juwan Johnson or Hunter Henry. I'm going Hunter Henry. The matchup's amazing.
He's got a great matchup. Cincinnati gives it. If I played tight end this week and I was playing the Bengals, I got a 9 to 10 point floor. Guaranteed. Exactly. Guaranteed. One more. Alvin Kamara, Trey Tucker, or Ramondre Stevenson, half-point PPR, need one.
Kamara. Pretty easily.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not like just out of solidarity for Trey Henderson. I'm not starting Ramondre Stevenson. And if he sees the field for more than like 15 snaps, I don't know what the Patriots are doing.
I would not be shocked. I would just not be shocked. I would not be shocked. Oh, we got another question here.
Yeah, we got Sean Tucker, Christian Watson, or Luther Burden. This is one I'm sticking with Sean Tucker. Like, I don't expect him to have a big game, but with the volume, even in a tougher game in his snaps, like I know Christian Watson had 2 touchdowns last week. He still has yet to have more than 5 targets in a game, and his yards are still down. So it has to be that touchdown. Tougher matchup against the Vikings. So I'm going Sean Tucker.
Yeah, I agree. Definitely Sean Tucker.
For PPR, do you like Luther Burden or Loveland this week against the Steelers?
K-Dog, I would say I don't love either. But I'd go Loveland if I had to take one of the two.
I would go Loveland as well. Do we have any other questions you want to get to?
No, I think we can go through a few streaming options before we head on out.
Cool. Let's do it. I feel like the biggest streaming options are at wide receiver this week. So who's your favorite streaming wide receiver of the week?
I mean, Alec Pierce, I know the matchup's not great, but he's been very good. Michael Wilson fits the streamer category because when Marvin Harrison Jr. comes back, people aren't going to play him anymore. And that's a really good matchup against the Jaguars. They gave it up to the perimeter. You're high on Darnell Mooney this week, so he's also a streamer that you can utilize. Andre Yosevich, we've talked about him. No Jamar Chase. Stop spitting, damn it. And the matchup is not great, but maybe there'll be some additional targets there. I like Greg Dortch against the Jaguars as I'm really desperate and I need a dart, and here we go in that game, which could be ended up being a high-scoring game in Arizona. We'll see.
Now, one you didn't name is Xavier Legette, and I know that's a risky one, but I actually really, really like him this week as a sneaky
good
pick. Matchup is great against the 49ers. Amazing, actually. No team has allowed more points to wide receivers since week 5 than the 49ers. And every week since week 5, they've allowed at least 2 wide receivers to score at least 11 fantasy points. So, 2 people on this Panthers team are going to do a good job. And Legette last week put up 83 yards and a touchdown on 8 targets against the Falcons. So I actually really like Legette this week. It's risky, obviously. I think Kayshon Boutte is another guy I really like this week. Before his injury, he had 3 straight games with at least 14 fantasy points from week 6 through 8. Got hurt early in that week 9 game. But in that span, he was averaging nearly 75 receiving yards per game and scored 4 touchdowns. He had at least 50 yards and a touchdown in all 3 of those games. So and that's a really nice matchup for him against the Bengals too, because the Bengals are allowing the 3rd most yards of 20-plus receptions this year. And Boutte has a bunch of those as well. So I really like Boutte.
Yeah, some tight ends too, because everyone's always hurting at tight end. I think Kyle Pitts at this point is a streamer because you can't play him every week because he's just a nightmare. But targets this week with no Drake London. We talked about Hunter Henry against Cincinnati. That is a very good streaming option at tight end. I like Cade Otton. I know he had a bad game last week, and the Rams defense is good. Chris Godwin's expected to be back, but I don't know that he's going to play a full complement of snaps. So Otton against the Rams team that gave up 10 catches to A.J. Barner last week. Again, streamer. Juwan Johnson, streamer. The Saints just cut Brandon Cooks. So, I mean, it's basically Juwan Johnson and Chris Olave in the passing game right now, and I guess to a lesser degree, Devon Villay. And then the aforementioned Barner against the Titans. It's not a great matchup on paper, but Sam Darnold clearly has he's got a rapport with A.J. Barner. So if you need tight end help, you could go with Barner this week.
Yeah, we brought up Noah Fant. It's unfortunate Mike Gesicki will be out there, kind of muddies the water, but I still would lean Fant if I had to go with one. Did you bring up Cade Otton? I really like him this week too. Nicer matchup against the Rams. He should get targets, even though Chris Godwin is going to be back, but they said he's expected to be on a snap count, whatever that means.
Yes.
So that worries you a little bit with Cade Otton, but I also think he's a viable option. We got actually a tight end question here. Kyle Pitts or Jake Ferguson? Hate Jake Ferguson's matchup this week, but also Kyle Pitts never does anything. So
I'm still playing Ferguson. Yeah. And by the way, I love the avatar Al Davis because Jerry Jones is a new Al Davis and he's actually 10 times worse than Al Davis. decision making. Mel, I'm sure you know my pain if you are a Raiders fan, which I assume you are, because Al was brutal.
And we got a follow-up question here. Aaron Jones or Xavier Legette, because now they just heard I said I like him. I would get crazy and start Legette, but it's a dangerous move. So I don't.
Yeah, I'm still starting Aaron Jones. Yeah,
I don't want you to lose because of me, but I really like Legette this week.
All right, no, I'm going with AJ.
It's definitely safer. Aaron Jones is safer to get you 10 points, right? Legette could get you 0. Aaron Jones isn't going to get you 0, and Legette legitimately has that downside to get you 1 or 2 points. But he also, I think, has really high upside this week too. But I think that's it for our show, unless any other last-second questions come in. Follow Mike Fabiano on X at Michael_Fabiano. You can follow me at BallBlastem. Fabs does a podcast every single day on Locked On, the Locked On Dynasty Football Podcast with Marcus Mosher.
My guy.
Yeah. And then I do the Locked On Fantasy Football Podcast with Vinny Iyer every day, Monday through Friday. So lots of content for us. Go look at those and subscribe to this so you never miss a Sunday morning show. We hope you all win your fantasy matchups and get closer to those playoffs. We'll talk.
And happy Thanksgiving. Don't eat too much turkey that you tryptophan yourself out of setting your lineups, because some people do that.
I know. Yeah. Remember to set those lineups before Thanksgiving Day. Good reminder. We'll talk to you next week. Bye, y'all.